guys, Coach Joe here at GaglioneStrength with the legend John Gaglione. Funny story, I actually met him probably 6 or 7 years ago at a Zach Evanesh seminar where I had never really bench squat or deadlifted at that time. I was just trying to get into it, so it's cool to see the progression, watch him grow, myself grow in the strength sport arena. So
it's also watching you shrink too.
Yeah, oh yeah. How much do you think you weighed that long ago?
Oh man, well definitely over 300.
And you weigh what right now?
I was 234 this morning.
And trying to get all the way back down to 198 to compete in the 198 class, which is amazing. But we're talking about kind of just, you know, you want to kind of ride that progression curve like this rather than do, you know, all the extremes, which we'll probably talk about a little bit later. But anyway, this gym is badass, super cool. So what I want to do real quick is we'll just do kind of a basic gym tour, kind of tell us what you got in here. Sure. Maybe there's some stories behind some of this stuff.
Always stories.
Yeah, but this is like, if you want to get strong, this is the kind of gym you want to be in. You can already feel the energy in here. So
very cool.
Let's just take it away, my man.
Well, thanks. Thank you for coming down. We enjoy guests and stuff. And it's really cool, like, you know, to see people that have, you know, been at some of our seminars and events. It definitely makes me feel good. So as far as like when you come in here, it's kind of more of a front desk area. We don't do too much in here, but for newer people and stuff, do consultations and stuff here. We got like a bunch of pictures of some former athletes that I've worked with. Although we work with many powerlifters, recreational and competitive now, my first kind of start was actually with high school football and wrestling. I coached high school football and wrestling. I did strength and conditioning while I started competing in powerlifting. So that was kind of the progression. And we got, you know, we try to honor all our kind of nationally ranked lifters that we've kind of worked with over the years. And then kind of when we come in, we usually do kind of a warm-up and movement preparation in here. As well as to get some people kind of warming up. So we'll kind of do some bodybuilding accessories and things like that. I think for a powerlifting gym, we definitely place a good premium on accessory work too. It's important to kind of build up the individual parts as well, and also just to kind of stay healthy. So we got some special equipment here, like the belt squat and things that we'll kind of go through in a bit. But all like kind of the magic happens in here. All that heavy duty stuff.
Yeah, the tone definitely changes, I feel like, on this side. Like this is what you see in like West Side barbell videos.
yeah, absolutely. So like this is kind of a newer piece with our combo rack here. So we'll be kind of using this for some of our, we like to host really small meets because one of our goals is to kind of be an advocate for the sport of powerlifting and just get more people involved with strength. Even if they're not, again, we kind of started talking off air. I have worked with some of the best in the country, some of the best in the world. But I take just as much pride, if not more, just getting someone involved, getting onto the bar for the first time, showing them the benefits of strength. My 61-year-old mother, my 66-year-old father just started training here a couple months ago. My mom's been training here for about 2 years, and she's seeing great benefits in bone density and balance and just overall health. So there are there's many levels and powerlifting can really be for the people. That's kind of one of our kind of mottos and what we kind of preach. So we got a combo rack, we got 2 deadlift platforms, 2 competition benches. Some things that we, some other kind of little tweaks and things that may be a little bit different. Something like a Thompson fat pad is great. It's just going to also, even though it's not like a legal bench pad, the width, it's going to be a little easier on the shoulders because your scapula is going to be more covered. We also have some specialty bars, like a safety squat bar. So we accommodate the person based on maybe they have injuries or maybe they want to work on certain weak points. So we don't only just use a straight bar all the time. Calibrated plates are important for competition, competitive lifters, so they kind of know exactly what they weigh.
So what's the difference, real quick, like for someone who wouldn't know, calibrated versus like a bumper plate or a regular?
Yeah, so they're going to be a little bit thinner. That's going to be what you see in competition, so it's going to be more closer to the center of the bar. The best example I can kind of give you see these red hundreds here. We weighed out our hundreds one time, and we wanted to make sure they were kind of certified and calibrated. One of our hundreds was like 93 pounds. Oh. So I mean, you don't realize, but like you don't think like a 45 is not always a 45. So these are kind of accurate to like whatever the gram or within a few grams. So you know if this is a 45-pound plate, it's a 45-pound plate. So if you're a competitive lifter, or I know you do some strongman, if you're like weight at a contest of 600, you want to know that you're lifting.
Yeah, actually lifting
600. So I think that's important, and just also the feel of it is different. I actually kind of made a joke the other day, but something like a deadlift, especially with a deadlift bar, if you have like really wide plates like bumpers and stuff, The flex of the bar is going to be a little bit different than using competition plates, so you might not get the exact same feel off the floor. Some people get like a big benefit of it. Some people, they don't see as much of a difference, but in general, you want to try and practice how you play and mimic the meet conditions, the sport conditions the best you can.
Yep.
And again, as you know, sometimes it doesn't always happen, but you try and mimic it the best you can. So training with some calibrated plates is important, and it's just kind of nice to know that what you're lifting is what you're lifting.
Exactly.
But if you have steel plates, you know, you do your best what you can. The monolifts.
So what's the point of them? I've never used a monolift, so give me the rundown.
The biggest thing is that you can be very accurate with the height of the bar.
That's cool.
And if I was training with you, I'm a few inches shorter. You know, even with my high heels on, but so we can adjust. So like back in the day, he would kind of, you know, get the short end of the stick, and he'd have to kind of take it out from my height if we were training together. So this is great, and I really feel like this is. Even if you're still gonna walk out your squats, I think it's a great tool. If you're a serious strength gym, because if you're just kind of training out of a power rack, that's actually kind of why we got rid of most of our racks, because we do train in groups. We talked about that before. So I think in a team setting, in a group setting, something like a monolift is definitely superior to a rack, because you can adjust the height based on the person. So this can literally have 900 pounds on it. I can pop this up. I can raise it down.
That's a good point.
And you know, a lot of stuff like safety straps and things like that. So if God forbid, if you're training with minimal spotters and things like that, it can catch the bar and prevent further injury if something does go or something does go wrong. So it allows that safety feature as well. Some people kind of argue, is it safer or not? But I do think the safety straps is a nice feature, and I've seen safety straps save people more than once. You know, with the past 12, 13 years of powerlifting experience, so definitely can help. And you kind of see we have some different chains and bands and stuff to accommodate resistance. All these different tools, sometimes people like to get very specific. Very specific training is going to have a higher dynamic correspondence, going to have a higher transfer of training, but it is good to add some variety too, whether it just be for psychological reasons or to work some different weak points. And I do think it kind of keeps things fresh. You know, like I said, I've been, you know, year 1, 2, and 3 is different than 9, 10, 11, and 12. So if you've been doing this as long as me for like a decade, it's just good to switch things up. So
yeah. So I always ask the questions about what's one of your favorite pieces of equipment or that you've invested in to have in the gym?
Yeah, I mean, I think the monolith is great, and you know, I think if I had to pick one, like, I think this is really important because I love squatting, but also like the mat winning belt squat is good, and we'll kind of see, we'll use that as like your last movement a little bit later. As we've gotten older, you start to get beat up in your low back and shoulders and stuff, and it's allowed me to accumulate a lot more squat volume without beating up your body. So one of the things that I've been always trying to do, and we kind of talked about a little bit before we started recording, is increasing the longevity of the athlete. So how can we do more work without kind of beating up our body? Because everything that we do has a cost to it.
Yep.
It's going to be a cost and benefit. So if I can do more things that have a low cost and like a high return, that's ideal. Now, that doesn't always happen, obviously, but there's only going to be so many heavy, you know, straight bar squats and straight bar deadlifts that you're going to be able to handle. And at some point, you're going to need to get your volume and some different like hypertrophy stimulus and, you know, time under tension from other means. So something like a belt squat, I think, is super valuable, especially for people that are, you know, older or they've been in the iron game for over 10 years. I think it's an invaluable kind of piece. I don't think you really replicate it. So that's been probably a really good addition to the gym and something I use every single week.
Yeah, it's good to just change it up for sure. I talk about it all the time. I'm like, once you've been in it for over 5-6 years, you got to play those variables, you know, just to keep your body healthy. All right, so what is your AKA iron cred, as you just said? So what are your totals, and then what do you train for right now? We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, so I'll give you some of my best competition lifts and also some stuff I've done in the gym. And we'll kind of, I'm sure you'll get into this like later when we start training. So right now I'm an equipped lifter. So we like to use knee wraps, I like to use supportive suits and things like that. When I got into powerlifting, that was kind of like what powerlifting was. And I felt like when I started to kind of get good at it or a little bit good at it, it kind of fell out of favor with the raw lifting, just kind of your classic belt and knee sleeves, that sort of thing. But there's something about like kind of standing up with a weight that's super maximal, more than you can kind of handle. It becomes a little bit more technical, so you'll kind of see the form's going to be a little bit different. But anyway, I'll kind of so my best squat. This is again multiply equipment. I've done a 900-pound squat in competition, done a 575 bench, and I've done my best deadlift is 660 in a meet. And I mentioned before I've done 700 in the gym. I picked up 700 in a meet once.
It's a funny story. Yeah, tell about that. Yeah.
Geez, and oh man, this was frustrating. But I ended up doing a deadlift only meet. I hit my opener on my second attempt. I kind of had a little bit too hard of a practice pull. This was 660, and then so I got red lights. You know, I kind of the bar moved upward and down, so that was my attempt. So I elected to go up to 700 anyway. The head judge is someone who I'm very friendly with, and she got excited, and she kind of called me down a little bit early, so I had 700 about here. I got a white light from her, and then 2 reds on the sides, but I did pick it up. I didn't count officially, but so I have picked up 700 twice, but not officially in the books yet. So I'm still working on getting out in the books. So 660 is my best. I'd like to, you know, eventually, like I said, hit that number again, just at a lower body weight. So that's my best lifts equipped. I've also done 705 in sleeves, squat, a 750 in wraps. And then I've done 635 for a double conventional deadlift for those who care. So that's some of my best lifts.
Awesome.
I consider myself a better coach than an athlete, but I do like to push myself and get better. And you know, now there's like little 18-year-old kids squatting 900. So I don't really always feel. I always just think I'm like, I think Steffi Cohen can lift what I do, but it's like she's 100.
I don't even want to think about what she's doing, dude. It makes me feel like I shouldn't even keep competing.
But joking aside, I think it's important to stay in your own lane. And you know, I feel like I'm very. And not to make excuses, I feel like I had very average genetics. I was never like the star athlete, but I always worked hard. In my first meet ever, I tell this story all the time, I squatted 375, my first meet ever at 198 pounds. My best squat in a belt was 705. And that was like a 10, 12-year process. So you know, so you can, you know, that's really great progress in my opinion. So is it world class? No, there's like a lot much lighter lifters doing lifts like that now, but I just think it's always important that you just focus on your own progress and your own journey. And like I said, if you know what we do inspires you and stuff, but don't ever feel bad about where you're at, because we were all there at one point. And of course, there's some freak like Larry Wheels just repping
the word. For those that don't know, he coaches still currently. Larry Wheels.
So for all his powerlifting
contests
and stuff, I'm not doing his side delt poses.
That's not
he's
the one helping him out. Yeah, those big deadlifts.
And stuff. For the past 4 years, I've been helping Larry with this program and handling him in person at all his meets. So
So I'm in good hands. So give them the rundown of what we have in store for today.
So we're going to do some squatting. I wanted to kind of go through some box squatting and just kind of share with people like the pros and cons and when it would be applicable. I think especially if you're not a competitive powerlifter, I think it's a great movement, and I think it might even be something I might even advocate more so than a regular squat, just because you can do it a little more frequently. It's going to be a little bit more posterior chain dominant, hip dominant, which is oftentimes what the general population need in general, and you can recover a little bit faster. So we're going to show there are some different ways to box squat, but the biggest thing that we're going to share today is what's going to be most efficient from a strength standpoint, and also just to stay kind of healthy, because there's definitely ways you can screw it up as well. I'm also working up to my last heavy workout as well, so hopefully we'll see some big lifts from myself.
Yeah, we're not going wood, but I mean, he gave me a number, and it's going to be pretty crazy.
We'll see. You got to stay tuned for that, and then. And then, we're going to do some work with chains, which can help accommodate resistance, work on acceleration, because the chains are lighter in the bottom, heavier at the top. And then we're going to test out the old belt squat and have some fun there and just blow up our legs at the end.
So I'm pumped, so we're going to dive into it, guys. Got to get warmed up, but make sure you check out all of his stuff. Okay, I'll be tagging him everything below. But this dude knows what he's talking about. This gym is awesome, so you want to either get in here or get some coaching from him, okay, because I know he does some online coaching. But it's going to be a good time.